episode, we talked about the Golden Age of China, and this episode is going to be about Roman Carthage, mainly about the Second Punic War. And if you're a big fan of the Punic Wars and also a bit of other channels, I highly recommend for subscribing the channels Extra History, Crash Course, and the Ancient History Guide. Those channels have helped me make this channel. Help me make this video. I just watched some of their videos on it, and I also highly recommend all of the other channels, which will be put into the description below. Now, let's get started. But now let's start by looking at some notes, shall we? Hi guys, my name is Sean, and today we're gonna talk about Roman Carthage, mainly about the Second Punic War. If you're new to this place, please subscribe and also hit that like button, so we can just smash over 1,000, of course. Alright, let's get into our Rome and Carthage video. But now, why don't we start by asking a question from the book. This is our last episode of season 1, so I hope you'll enjoy it. Do you know a country that was once powerful but does not exist now? Well, you might be answering it after you hear the story. Alright? Alright, now Roman Carthage was a kind of war called the Punic War, and the Punic Wars is one of my favorite battles of all history. Well, I'm not saying I love going into battles like real life, but I just like to watch them on just TV shows or stuff. But anyways, back to our place. First, the first Punic War was started in 241 BC. Of course, and also in 241 BC, the first Punic War started, and also that is the ending period of the first Punic War. And there, Carthage lost the battle. And then, in the second Punic War started, a Carthaginian general, not the Spider-Man Carthage, a Carthaginian general called Hannibal was kind of a very good general. It was also one of my heroes in greatest history, and he won most of the battles of the Second Punic War, which we're gonna get into right now. Now the Second Punic War is a bit different than the First Punic War. First, Hannibal marched his army. He decided to do that with his brothers, but more on that later. He marched his army into the Alp Mountains, which was very difficult. More on that later too. And then, after they got the March of the Alps, they finally went into Italy on the same day. The Romans thought they would come from the ships, like on the Mediterranean Sea, but since Hannibal was a creative thinker, he didn't. Well, he learned from experience, as I say. Anyways, as he went into Italy, he did a lot of great achievements. The first 3 battles in Italy were a major success. Carthage won the 3 battles. He even pushed one army into a lake. More on that later too. Anyways, back to on the last war. Carthage was near Rome but could not conquer it, and then they just went back to their homeland, and somewhere near the original Carthage. They conquered a lot of places like Spain and the island of Sicily. Anyways, they went back to a conquered land near the Sicily Ocean, and they had a battle there, but Hannibal didn't win. The Romans did. That was a major, this is what I say, a major historical flaw. Well, anyway, back to this thing. Why did the Romans actually won the Second Punic War's last battle? Well, here's the reason. They had more men and money They have more men and money, and with money they can afford more war weapons, and with more men that means more stronger armies. But stronger armies doesn't always count. But anyways, the more men they had, the more fighters they can afford. That's just the saying that I said. Cut. Alright. I've been doing a lot of cuts in this series at the Hands on History Volume 1, but since this is the last episode, this might be my very last cut at all. But anyways, back to our Second Punic War. At that Roman Empire defeat, it was not 218 BC, not 217 BC, not 216 BC, but 202 BC. BC means before Christ, if you're just wondering. Anyways, back to that war. This is where Rome won, blah blah blah, and also my most important fact. The most important fact about that war is that on that same year, Carthage, the Carthaginian armies left Rome. Actually, the whole Italy, because Rome conquered all of Italy. And after they left Rome, they just went back to their mainland, and all of their lands were destroyed. Not like they just went out of the map. Their lands, like the part of them, just destroyed. Some people say that the Romans poured salters to prevent fertile crops from growing, I just say, so they wouldn't be able to eat. And maybe there are even the Carthaginian followers even today. Not the Spider-Man one, just a reminder. Alright, now just into our second lesson, a great warrior. The Hannibal, the greatest general of the Second Punic War, was very, very good general. He did a lot of new things that weren't even expected to happen according to the story in the book. But the writer of lesson 2 had said that Hannibal was a creative thinker, and I just thought that was a very good wise thing to say about Hannibal. And Hannibal is a creative thinker, but maybe a bit over me. Huh. Snap out of it. Okay. Alright. Anyways, Hannibal was a creative thinker, and in Roman time, nobody had ever tried to cross the Alps before. And I just heard that, and I just saw in one of the videos that I watched today is that about the Alps, and it said crossing the Alps would be funny, don't you think? Well, I think it's serious. I think he was serious. But this is just a bit more kind of complex. This is just complex. I'll explain this in the extra video. And now, let's get into our writing video. Whoa. Yeah. Oh, reverse. Alright. So let's get into our writing video. Okay. Now today's writing topics will be always the same again. What did you learn about the ancient Roman Carthage? And do you know a country that was once powerful but does not exist now? Well, before we start this video, I want to include that Carthage was destroyed after Rome won the Punic Wars. And it's gone out of the map, except ancient maps, of course. Right. Number 1, what did you learn about the ancient Roman Carthage? Well, I learned in ancient Roman Carthage that Rome won the whole Punic War. Well, not exactly the whole, but a bit of the Punic Wars. And also, Carthage won most of the Punic Wars. Another thing is that Rome and Carthage used to be the two masters of the Mediterranean Sea. You can just call them masters. Anyways, Rome and Carthage are also on the Mediterranean Sea, but I already knew that. But Carthage is on the northern coast of Africa, as you saw on my notes map. No, that was wrong page. Anyways, let's go back and look at my map. Look at the maps of the book. Might be a bit messy. See it? Yes. All right. This red part is Italy and the colonies of Rome. The real Rome is right this dot. If you can call it a city. Anyways, this looks like a bit of soccer balls flying up. But anyways, Rome conquered all of Italy. And this green part is the Carthaginian territory. If you want to see where real Carthage is, it's right here. See it? Alright. Now here are the keys and the four main battles of the Second Punic War. Alright, the blue represents a Carthaginian victory and the red represents a Roman victory. So this is how Hannibal went around. First he went through here, and then he went through the Alps to the Battle of Trebia. Then he went here to the Battle of Lake Trasmene. Then finally, his last victory, the Battle of Cannae. This is where he defeated the Romans, if you can say he defeated them. Anyways, he went back home by ship, then got a bit of an attack from the Romans there, called the Battle of Zama, which is a Roman victory, and that's how Carthage ended. After that Roman victory, Carthage was destroyed. That's why you can't see them on modern maps anymore. Well, I hope that nobody will make another Carthage, if you can call it another Carthage. Here's the Mediterranean Sea, and this is the Black Sea. This is the North Atlantic Sea. The Atlantic Sea is the second largest ocean in the world, but I'll get that into the extra history video. Now, what else should I say? Oh yeah, Macedon. You remember that Alexander the Great guy, right? Alright, Macedon was also a very good place. Macedon helped the Romans win the war after Alexander the Great died. Well, actually a few decades after that he died. But anyways, Macedon just helped the Romans, and I think that's why how they got to win the Battle of Zama. What do you think? Now, for our second question, do you know of a country that was once powerful but does not exist now? Well, you might guess it, Carthage. Of course, I said earlier, Carthage used to be here on the map of the coast of northern Africa and a bit of Europe, but now it's completely gone. I'll see you in the extra video. Welcome to Extra History. But before we start the Extra History, I want to have a big thanks to these three channels: the Ancient History Guide, Crash Course World History, and Extra History. I wish that you will subscribe to them, and if you do, please tell me, and I'm a very big fan of those channels. Alright, and today's Extra History, since this is the last episode for Season 1, I brought my two furry friends right here, Penny the Penguin and Hedwig the Owl. Alright, now let's get into our Extra History. And today's Extra History will be hosting our Second Punic War, but it will be in details. Alright? Alright, Anyways, the Second Punic War was a very misunderstanding war to me, but it got understood later in the battles. Anyways, the first war, the Battle of Trebia, is a very, very fine victory and fine war for the Carthaginians. The Carthaginians won the battle, and this is how they won it. Let me remember. Yes, the Carthaginians fought the Romans in a kind of position after they went over the Alps. They just was able to fight the Romans and destroying the whole of them. And then later, there was another battle, but not the battle of like Tresmine. It was a battle between them. And there, some of the Romans had to cross a river, which was not so wide. Anyways, they had to cross a river and, you guessed it, fight the Carthaginians. But luckily, a Roman was able to destroy a weakened position of the Carthaginian army, while all of their sides are blocked, and then they made an opening. And then one army of the Romans was able to escape into the forest, while the other Romans were destroyed. And then somebody else had to clean up the mess because it's their fault. Yeah. Then for the Battle of Lake Tresmine, this is called the Battle of Lake Tresmine because it was a battle near Lake Tresmine. And here is how the Carthaginians won them. First, before the Romans went to Lake Tresmine, the Carthaginian general, the greatest warrior of all time, in that time, Hannibal, made a secret ambush. He first put 2 strong warriors guarding the camp while be able to see, and the rest of the other Carthaginian army soldiers into a forest where it's very hidden and nobody could see the Carthaginians. And when the Romans finally came on July 21st, the first 2 guards went to fight them, and then behind them were a lot of the Carthaginians running out of the forest, and then it split the Romans into 3 groups to fight. With that ambush, one of the groups, which was the weaker part of it, was pushed into a lake, which is where the army drowned. Well, that's smart for the Carthaginians. Anyways, the Carthaginians got to destroy a lot of the Romans, but another time, one army was able to fight its way out, and some armies even raised the white flag for surrendering. Sorry. Now, then there was the Battle of Cannae. Now, the Battle of Cannae was the best war for the Carthaginians of all time, as I said earlier. In the Battle of Cannae, the Carthaginians won in another defensive position, but they didn't use elephants yet. Now, to the fall of Carthage. Now, the Roman victory, the Battle of Zama, is going to be fought right now. Now, the Battle of Zama is a war, again, against the Carthaginians and the Romans, but for the last time. Of course, that is a bit cool to me. If it isn't, just please, put a dislike if you don't like it. Anyway, back to our position, as you can say. Alright, first, Hannibal had new elephants, but they weren't even trained or tested. So here was the ambush plan for the Romans. First, the elephants rode into the army of the Romans, right? And then the Romans sounded horns to scare the elephants away, and sometimes the elephants went back out into their own army and just attacked Hannibal's army, which was not expected to happen. But that was a clever trick for the Romans. And then the elephants were killed by the Romans while the elephants were inside the Roman army. And then no more elephants left, so the rest of the army went into a very straight line with the Romans army, and they could have destroyed the Roman army. But out of nowhere, another Roman army, which has destroyed a weaker part of the Hannibal's army, the Carthaginian army, got slammed into the Carthaginian army, and then they destroyed part of it, and then the rest of the Romans, which was bigger, destroyed a lot of Carthaginians. a lot of the Carthaginians. Now that was the last losing for the Carthaginians. And then, well, actually it's not really the last lost for the Carthaginians, but it was the last battle lost for the Carthaginians. After that, the Romans destroyed the whole Carthage, which we cannot see on today's maps. Look at that map. Look at that map. This is a world map, and if you just see it in Africa, there's no Carthage. If there were Carthage, there would be a bit of a green sliver or something else to, well, mark it, but there isn't. So kind of like Carthage is part of modern day Spain, part of modern day Egypt, and modern day Libya. Well, that surprises the facts. Now I might be able to see you in season 2, and and also try to view my channel, and also hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you're not new yet. This video was made by me and made with these friends, right? Alright, this video was also made by me and also scripted by me and also scripted but with them. The talking is me, and also this learning profile was made made from these 3 channels: Crash Course, the Ancient History Guy, and Extra History. Hope you enjoyed the video, and today's question is, I'll put these friends aside. Who won the first 3 battles of the Second Punic War? Is it Carthage or Rome? Put the answers in the comments below. And I'll see you next time. Shanhan, out of here. Bye guys. See you in season 2. Dun, 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 dun.